Charlie from DM Sound, and today we've got the sound system demo on the 2025 Mazda 3 hatchback and its 12-speaker Bose audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio inputs, adjustments, controls, speaker locations. We're going to test out the 5.1 surround support, and then we're going to head out on the highway and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Now, if you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning and you just want to hear the music, click ahead in the video. We've got chapters to get you right to the tunes. And if you want to hear even more on this system, sign up below to become a Daily Motor member. I'm going to be recording a members-only sound test on this car, listening to tracks requested by members. So if you want to help support the channel and hear more on this great Mazda 3 Bose system, check the link below. But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Ah yes, the Mazda 3 hatchback. This one equipped with the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine and the 6-speed manual transmission. So it's a little bit of a unicorn these days because there are fewer and fewer compact cars that you can get with a manual. This one's still giving it to you, as well as its very nice interior in this S Premium model. Now, we've tested the Mazda 3 Bose in the hatchback and the sedan multiple times over the years, but I like coming back to retest this car for two main reasons. One, I like keeping tabs to make sure that Mazda and Bose don't decontent this car over the years and kind of maybe use cheaper speakers or something. I want to hold them accountable, make sure it's still good year over year. And we often consider this to be one of the best sound systems you can get under $50,000. So it's always good to remind myself, kind of recalibrate, all right, what is really, really strong in this class and at this price point, so that when I'm comparing it to other vehicles, I can be bold in my claim. So if you do want to see more on the Mazda 3, check the link below. We've got reviews on just about every body and powertrain configuration, as well as on this one. Now, we always do these tests with lossless, uncompressed WAV files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also did the test with the sound settings set to their factory default, so let's take a look at those now. The infotainment screen here in the Mazda 3 is a little bit polarizing. Some people don't enjoy using this center rotary knob. They'd prefer a touchscreen that's closer and larger. However, I'm a firm believer that if you own this car, after you get used to how this system works, how quickly you can move about it and use some of the shortcuts, I am quite a fan. Here in the audio settings, for the Bose system, you only get EQ adjustments for treble and bass. In the bass systems in the Mazdas, you get a whole, it's either 9 or 12 band equalizer. But either way, let's go through these two. Below that, you have a listening position adjustment, either all seats or driver's seats. Let's go through those. Driver's seat is going to give you the best listening experience here. It's going to time the speakers just a little bit differently, give you a nice soundstage right in front of the driver. So I'm going to go back and forth on my listening on that throughout the week. Then you have a front, rear, left, right fader and balance. And then Bose stereo mode. Now in standard, this is going to be tuned a little bit more uniquely for how Bose suspects the buyer of this car is going to want their sound to sound. But then in linear, that's going to be more of an entirely flat EQ, more as the original audio recording was recorded. So I'll go back and forth real quick. We're in linear. To a lot of people, standard is going to sound a little bit more full, but again, I'm going to go back and forth and kind of see what I prefer. Sometimes it just comes down to different music. Whatever I'm listening to, I prefer to have a different sound. Then you have Bose center point. I'm going to cycle through those once the next track gets going. You have off, 1, 2, and 3. This creates more of a virtual surround sound experience. It's going to make the music sound like it's wrapped around you a little bit more, at the expense of having the sound a little bit more artificial and slightly more hollow. Again, some people prefer center point on, some people prefer it off. Sometimes it just comes down to the music. Most of my testing is going to be done with it off because that's going to be a little bit more true to recording, but I'll be sure to comment on it throughout the video. And then lastly, you have Bose Audio Pilot. Some systems compensate for road engine and wind noise by making the music louder as you get going faster, but Bose Audio Pilot actually listens in the cabin and compensates the different elements of the music to make up for interior cabin noise. So it's a little bit smarter than your standard speeds compensated volume control, and you can choose again between off, 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna do most of our testing with it on 2. Now that the song is picked back up, we'll go through the center point modes. You hear how 3 is a lot sloppier. So again, comes down to personal preference. Sometimes I have it on 1, depending on what type of music I'm listening to. And that's it for audio adjustments. For audio controls here in the Mazda 3, you have a nice volume knob. It's in great reach for both the manual shifter and the rotary knob, driver and passenger. You can also click on it to mute the music. I like that. Then on the left side of the steering wheel, you have volume up and down on a clicker, plus push to mute. Then for track selection, you can push the volume knob right or left to cycle back and forth through tracks. You can use the rotary knob if you're on the proper menu, or you've got track selection on the left side of the wheel right next to volume control. I'd like to see that. Audio inputs in the Mazda 3. You have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth, support for wireless and wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and USB-C port, technically 2 of them in there. What does that mean you're missing? Well, there's no 3.5mm auxiliary input jack for high-fidelity music, no disc player, and no streaming services built in, no Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, anything like that. Now, speaker locations. This one's a little bit fun because Mazda has engineered bass woofers up there in the firewall where you have a really tight sort of experience. You're not going to have a vibration in the door like a lot of systems have. So subwoofer, or not subwoofer, just normal woofers up there front 1, mid-ranger 2, tweeter 3, center in the front, mid-range 4, 5, 6, 7. Coming into the back, you're looking at mid-rangers in the doors 8 and 9, and mid-rangers up here in the D and the D pillars. I guess those are technically the C pillars, 10 and 11. And opening up the trunk, you get your 12th subwoofer right here within the spare tire, giving you the 12. Pretty cool to see a whole suite of speakers like that in a small car like this. Before we get on the road, let's test the 5.1 capabilities of this car. Now, most people don't listen to 5.1 music, but just in case you do and you want to know, it's important to see what we got here. We're going to skip forward using the immersiveaudioalbum.com sampler track.
Left. Center. Right. Left surround. Right surround. LFE.
Okay, so no 5.1 support, but it does downmix properly at least. So if you do have 5.1 music you're listening to, it'll come through in proper stereo. And with that, let's head out on the road. number of speakers and the placement of speakers all around this fairly tight center or front area of the cabin, it's almost like having a set of headphones on right here in front of you in the Mazda 3. I mean, the sound stage, especially in driver's seat, nicely right out in front, good stereo there, and it's just a very tight, crisp sound effect in both the mids and the highs and the lows. Everything is nicely balanced. Very happy with all of these songs so far. For this next track, we'll turn it back to all seats, we'll turn the bass all the way up, see if we can get some distortion out of this system. The Bose sound system here in the 25 Mazda 3 hatchback. Year in and year out, this system continues to impress me. Mazda developed the Mazda 3 to have this Bose sound system in it and for it to be class leading. And it still is. There isn't another car in this category that you can get and have this level of sound quality. There really isn't. It's very impressive for all your different sorts of music. It's got the power, it's got the range. There's a little bit in the mid-ranges that are a bit harsh in some of the sound modes that I'd like to hear tamped down, and the fact we don't have a mid-range adjustment, a little bit disappointing because of that. So if I were in the car listening with my partner or people in the back seat or something, I'd be a little let down by that tuning in the mids. But all in, very impressive sound system, especially for the fact that we're in a $32,000 car. So this one's getting an A, very solid A for both objective sound quality as well as subjective for the price point. I mean, for the price point, really, it's practically an S tier. I guess A+ would be most fitting for the price. Outside of the new Mitsubishi Outlander, there's nothing under $45,000 that's going to sound this good. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Mazda 3, check the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from DM Sound, and as always, drive on.